Hi everybody, it's been a while since I did a video to do with music. Just this morning I was speaking with a very good friend of mine. Most of you know that I'm very good friends with Erekose, and he explained that he'd done a little video explaining some of the mathematics of the 7th Circuit judges and how they had completely misconstrued the mathematics of wrongful convictions. And I did say that I would do a little video therefore about time signatures in music, which is somewhat similar, and he did say that it would be, I think I said to him that it would be ideal for his insomnia. So here goes. So this is partly for obviously for my own students to check up on and have a little bit of background information about time signatures, but also a little bit of fun with Mr. Erekose, the king of making a murderer YouTube videos. So here goes. First thing I should say is that when it comes to time signatures in music and note values, probably every teacher in the world is guilty of this. We start off by telling our beginner students a little bit of a lie. We often start off by telling them this. We tell them that this type of note, called a semibreve, is called a whole note. We then tell them that this is a minim, and it's known as a half note. That this is a crotchet, known as a quarter note. And we tell them that the minim, the whole note, is worth 4 beats, the minim is worth 2 beats, and the crotchet is worth 1 beat. We've then got other note values smaller than a crotchet. We have our quaver, which is half again, so that's an 1/8 note. And then we use the prefix semi to describe the next quaver, and this is known as the semiquaver, and that's known as the 16th note. Okay, so it's important to bear in mind, as I say, that these notes, sorry I've not mentioned the semibreve there, but that's considered the whole note, the minim the half note, the crotchet is the quarter note, the quaver is the 8th note, and the semiquaver is the 16th note. Okay, it does raise an interesting point. If semi means half, as in quaver, then semibreve, which is the name for the whole note, indicates that there must in fact be the note of a breve, and there is. It's a double whole note, but again, it's one of these things that you'll very rarely see in music. So anyway, there's a as I say, quick rundown of our note values. Well, not their values, it's their relative value to one another. As I say, a lot of people are told, virtually throughout the world, that's a 4 beat, that's a 2 beat, that's a 1 beat, that's a half a beat, and that's a quarter of a beat. But that's not true. It all depends on the time signature. Now, time signatures in music are an improper fraction. The most common of all is 4/4. Which is often shown by simply the letter C. As I say, it's an improper fraction. It literally means there are 4 quarters in each bar. 4 quarters is 4 over 4. Now, obviously it's the same as 1, because 4 quarters, 4 crotchet notes, equal a whole single semibreve. Okay, so the top number tells you the number of beats per bar, because music is divided into bars, or as the Americans prefer to call them, measures. And you know, when you listen to a piece of music, you can feel the first beat in the bar, and if you count from then, there'll often be 3 more beats, and then you get another first beat of the bar. Or in a waltz, it would be 1 2 3 1 2 3. Okay, so here's the thing about time signatures, you need to remember this, is that you can have any number of beats per bar, but obviously you can only have whatever type of note that I've in practice, these are the only notes that you'll ever see as the bottom number of a time signature. So we can have 4/4, which means 4 crotchets. You could also have 4 minims per bar, 4 half notes. So that would mean that in each bar you've got your 4 minims. Now here's the important thing: if you're telling students that a crotchet is worth 1 beat, well, now we're contradicting, because we're now saying that there are 4 beats in the bar, but the minim is the 1 beat unit. There are 4 minims. Each of these minims is counted as 1 beat. So now a crotchet will only be worth half a beat. But if we did it the other way, if we said that there were 4 quavers in the bar, a time signature of 4/8, that indicates there are 4 quavers per bar. So if I put 4 quavers in this bar, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now each of those quavers is classed as being worth 1 beat. There's 4 of them and they're quavers. So now a crotchet would be equal to 2 of those quavers. So now the crotchet has doubled in value to be worth 2 beats. As I say, here each crotchet would only be worth half a beat, because 2 crotchets make a minim. Hopefully you're with me here so far. Now, I mentioned that any number can be used at the top of a time signature. But when we have either the number 6, 9 or 12 as the top number, incidentally, the most common time, let's just start from the beginning. Most common time signatures are 4/4, also known as common time. We quite often see the sign cut common time, which is another way of showing 2/2. Obviously we get 3/4 is quite a common time, 2/4 is quite a common time, 3/8 is quite a common time signature, but there's only one common time for crotchets. What I'm saying is these are the sort of ones that you often see. Now, in music we have what's known as simple time and compound time. In our simple time signatures, the beat, the note that makes a beat, is an ordinary note, crotchet, minim, quaver. But of course in music you can take a crotchet, which is equal to 2 quavers, and if we were to take a crotchet and dot it, that dot increases the note by 50%. In other words, that crotchet dotted is now worth a crotchet plus a quaver. So in effect, a dotted crotchet is worth 3 quavers. We'll get onto that in a minute. That's the difference between simple time and compound time. If we have the time signature 2/4, that means there are 2 crotchets in the bar. In the time signature 6/8, that means there are 2 dotted crotchets per bar. How does that work? Well, the problem is you can't show a dotted crotchet as one of these notes, or can you? Well, yes you can, because as I just showed you a moment ago, if a crotchet, a quarter note, is a crotchet, then a dotted crotchet is a quarter note plus a quaver, which is an 1/8 note, and that of course is worth 3/8. And if you want to show that there are 2 of these dotted crotchets per bar, 2 times 3/8 is 6/8. So there, as I say, there are 3 time signatures to bear in mind. There are 6/8, 9/8 and 12/8. And that doesn't mean that there are 6 beats, 9 beats and 12 beats. You've got to divide by 3 to get the true number of beats, and then take your whatever the lower number is, whether it's 8, 16, and move up to the next note value in size and dot it, and then you'll get the true representation of what that time signature means. So for example, if you had 12/16, that doesn't mean there are 12 semiquavers. Well, it does, but not 12 semiquaver beats. There's actually 4 beats, but each beat is a dotted quaver. Because a dotted quaver, a quaver is an eighth note. If you dot it, it's an eighth note plus half again, a 16th note. So it's 3/16. So 3/16 times 4 is your 12/16. So, let's say, usually in simple time, usually your top number is either 2, say 2, 4, 3, 4. But of course, there's been 1 or 2 famous tunes written in 5/4. Obviously, Dave Brubeck's Take 5. Incidentally, that's really just a bar of 3 and a bar of 2. There's also been, we've just covered 6/8. You can also get 7/4. Most famous example of that would probably be, again, Dave Brubeck's Unsquare Dance, but I'm going to go with Pink Floyd's The Money. Baby dee boom bum bum bum, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you listen to it carefully, you'll get it. But it's really 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, a bar of 3 and a bar of 4. Okay, well, hopefully by now everybody's fast asleep, and we'll catch you again some other time.